a few other things, but I actually went through the process of going through, checking out through PayPal, using Google Pay, Apple Pay, 4 others. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Welcome to another episode of Guess the Test by Elevar, where you learn the data behind a conversion optimization experiment, the variance competing, and of course, the winning version and learning lessons. If you aren't familiar with Elevar, we help Shopify brands clean up their tracking and ensure 95% of conversions are delivered to their most critical marketing channels like Facebook and Google Analytics. So let's get into today's episode and guess the test. All right, I'm here with Elevar's lead CRO strategist, Kirby. What is today's experiment that we'll be going through? Drop it on me.
Hey, Brad. Yeah, so today we're going to be looking at a PDP test. So in this case, we hid the additional payments call to action under the standard add to cart. So the control had both add to cart and additional payment options. And in the variant, we just ran an existence test where we hid the additional payments call to action. So
Okay.
this ran on all PDPs, all device types. And one note, for this, both the add to cart and the additional payments trigger an add to cart event.
Yep.
So that was the primary KPI that we're looking at is add to cart rate, and then further down funnel looking at overall conversion rate.
Yep. Okay. So product page, we are hiding the popular buy now button and additional payments option that historically everyone said you need to have it. And when a user clicks on that, it adds to cart and automatically redirects to checkout. Got it.
Yep.
Why are we running this experiment? Drop some data on me.
Yeah, so in this case, we used the Elevar Chrome extension actually to set up some event tracking on this element, the additional payments call to action. And over the course of kind of the prior 30 days, we looked at the data for users who just use the standard add to cart, and then those that use the additional payments call to action. And we saw the more payments event actually had a lower conversion rate by about 12% than the standard add to cart. So the thought was, potentially that's distracting or isn't taking users to where they think it's taking them. So let's just see simple existence test. Does hiding it, put users down the funnel of, the traditional add to cart, initiate checkout, and does that have a net positive impact on conversion?
Yep. Okay. Taking my notes before I get ready for my prediction. So when you compare users who click the add to cart and ultimately check out versus users who just click the buy now button and what their funnel experience, those that click the buy now button has their conversion rate is 12% worse than those who click the add to cart button. Is that right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. And you mentioned an existence test. Many watching this may not know exactly what that means. Can you give a 10-second definition on what an existence experiment or existence test is?
Yeah, absolutely. So existence test is just a very simple A/B test where you take an element and you either show it or hide it. In this case, it's shown in the control. So the only thing we're doing is just hiding that same element.
Cool. All right. Super simple experiment and setup here. Let's see what these variants look like so I can get a little visual behind it. And I think I got my prediction already, but go for it.
All right. Yeah, so the control, you can see here under the size selector, we have the just standard add to cart, and then you can see that second kind of ghost button where the user is able to select more payment options, and that's where it triggers an add to cart and takes them directly to checkout. Variant here, you can see everything's the exact same. The only thing that we've isolated is hiding that more payment options call to action. So we can take a look here. We have the control on the left, and then the variant here on the right. So you can see the only change we made was to that more payment options. So you said you had your prediction. Let's hear what you think.
Seems almost too easy. We already know that the conversion rate for people that use the buy now button or additional payment options converts lower, 12% lower. I'm going with the variant hiding one, and I will say somewhere in the range of a 5 to 8% lift in overall conversion rate. What was the primary KPI again? I know. So we had conversion rate KPI, the
Yeah,
add to cart
yeah,
automatically happens.
yeah. So add to cart was our primary, just to see if there was any difference in taking that element out.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to stick with it. I was going to say 5 to 8% in revenue per visitor improvement for the hiding the additional payment options. I'll just do 5 to 8% increase in add to cart conversion rate. How'd I do?
Okay, you did great. Yeah, we didn't rehearse this ahead of time. It was a
Did
5%
not.
increase on
Oh,
the
nice.
dot with 100% stat sig for add to cart rate. So, really significant there. Like I said, that was our primary metric. We also looked at just overall conversion rate. We saw about a 2% improvement with a slightly lower stat sig at 83%. So not quite as statistically significant
Yeah.
for overall conversion rate. And we actually didn't look at revenue per visitor, and the
Okay.
reason being is we have a pretty wide range of prices on these products, so we didn't
Yeah.
want to have that negatively impact kind of how we looked at the results,
Yeah.
since this was more, just looking at add to cart and overall conversion rate.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So just summarize the primary KPI add to cart had a 5% improvement with 100% statistical significance.
yep.
How many total add to carts, just for volume without getting exact, but how many total add to carts were included in the experiment?
Yeah, so we had about 20,000 between the
Okay.
control and variant.
Okay. Cool. All right. Another winner. What other
Yep.
takeaways? Like anything else that you can take learnings from this and apply across the site or potentially other areas?
Yeah, so we had a little bit of a discussion. Specifically, we looked at new versus returning just to see if there was any difference in user type in terms of the results. It was pretty consistent across both user types, new and returning. In terms of kind of additional applications,
Yeah.
we talked to the client about potentially, would it be worth hiding those additional payments in the checkout as well? If they're not being used, which we could see in a report within Shopify, if they're not being used or they're used at a very low rate, maybe they're distracting even in checkout and would be worth seeing if removing those has a net positive impact as well.
Yeah. I saw something in the Shopify Plus Facebook group last week. I think someone was, I think they were trying to restyle the additional payment options in at the top of checkout, where again you have the PayPal, Google Pay, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be another area. Just hide testing that at the top of the checkout and seeing how that performs if the product page performs.
Yeah, exactly. That's where our head was at, and even from a business perspective, some of those additional payment options, might
Yeah.
have additional fees, or might be a little more costly than the standard Shopify checkout. So,
Yeah.
even a slight dip in revenue per visitor could actually be a good business decision overall. So,
Yeah. Cool. A couple
yeah,
random thoughts for me. Number one, the Chrome extension and just tagging that. It's so simple to do. Just tag it, and you can. The test probably took a couple minutes to set up. Ultimately,
yeah,
once we got into it, so that's one big takeaway is make sure that event tracking is set up. So a couple other points. Have you listening? Have you actually gone through the process of your additional payment options? So I did this a couple weeks ago on our test store where we're testing TikTok server side integration and a few other things, but I actually went through the process of going through checking out through PayPal, using Google Pay, Apple Pay, four others. It's kind of a pain in the butt, a few of them, especially if you don't remember your password for PayPal. So it's not surprising that that wins. The experiment hiding it wins. The other point is I also have always believed this. It's such a weird experience where you have the additional payments block on the product page, and I don't think the user expects when you click, oh, PayPal, that you're automatically
yeah.
like, by clicking this, I'm expecting to go to the checkout page. That was
Mhm.
always, that's a weird experience for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of our assumption as well, is potentially a user is maybe just clicking it to see what options are available,
Yeah.
and they're not expecting to just be taken, directly to checkout. So
Yeah.
definitely could be part of it.
All right. So I think that's it. Takeaway, if
Yep.
you have these on your product pages, set up the test. It's super simple.
Yep.
Anything else?
That's all I got. Yep.
All right. That's it. See ya.
All right. See you next time.